All right, my friends, welcome to episode 171 of Prof and Dev Play Games. 3 years. This is 3 years ago you came on and did the GOTY discussion with me, 2015, and we've been doing it together ever since.
I know. It's crazy. It's like we're friends.
Maybe, yeah. It's
Maybe.
like we like talking to each other.
3 years. I can't even remember what I chose 3 years ago.
We should go back and listen and see what those were.
What games came out in 2015?
Well, I know what I chose. My number one was Witcher 3.
Right. Had I played it yet?
I don't think so.
No, because I think I put it on 2016 because I was... Oh, no, I put the
DLC.
Blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, this is my way of cheating this in because the game's amazing. And I played it this year.
Yeah, I don't know what you picked in 2015. We'll have to go back and listen to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But for me, it was absolutely Witcher 3. And then I know Arkham Knight was somewhere on that list for me. And then Rocket League probably was 2015 as well.
Oh, yeah.
Mario Maker, I think, also 2015. Yeah. But anyway, this is 171 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I am at Prof Plays Games. He is at Summer Speak. And if you haven't guessed yet, this is our Game of the Year podcast. We're going to talk about our top 5 games of the year. And as Anthony kind of alluded to with his Witcher nonsense in 2016, we're kind of changing the way we do this list a little bit just to include games that we've played this year and not necessarily released this year. Simply because there are at least for me, and maybe for you too, there are some games that I want to play on a certain platform, and if they release on PC in 2017, but they don't get onto the platform of choice that I want to play them until 2018, I still want to include them in the list because it still feels relevant. I wouldn't include something like Mass Effect 2 that I finally played this year or something like that, but I would a game that came out last year on a different platform and has relevancy on a new platform this year, I think I would choose. So that's what we're going to do. I think, knowing what's on our list, I think most of our games came out this year anyways. But it just helps us to...
I think there's one on my list that matters. Matters for.
Me too. And then I've got... I've mentioned my friend Brad several times on this podcast. I've got his lists that I want to read out and have Anthony and I discuss a little bit, his choices as well. Anthony has not heard those choices yet, but if I were to have you guess some of them, you probably'd figure out at least some of them.
Yeah.
So we're going to do Game of the Year, and then we're going to talk about the top 3 games that we didn't play. Things that we wish we had gotten to, and if we had, maybe they would be on our top 5 list. Then we're going to do our top soundtrack, and then our top game moment, something in a game that really, while we were gaming, just really stayed with us. And then I have a challenge for Anthony and I in the new year. I'm going to talk about that. It's going to be fresh and new for Anthony because I have not told him this yet, but I'll explain it when we get there, but it's not going to be too burdensome for both of us. And then just at the end of the episode, we're going to let you know that the next episode, which launches on the 31st of December, that will be the episode where we go back and figure out if our predictions for 2018 hit or miss, add up our totals and see who won. And then if I won, Anthony has to play Inside. And if he won, I have to play Shadowrun. Shadowrun Hong Kong? Is that right?
Dragonfall. Either Dragonfall or Hong Kong. I can't remember which one. I'd have to go back and listen. I think I would probably say Dragonfall.
Okay, that's probably what it was.
The best of them.
Yeah. And then we'll make some new predictions for 2019 and see how wrong we can be. I predict Sony will not be at E3.
Oh, man. Good prediction there.
Thank you.
Let's see if that turns out correctly.
So before we dive into the Game of the Year talk, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm on break right now.
Oh, you must be feeling great.
Like
then.
you.
Yes, just like me. It is a nice time to be on break.
Yeah, we got a forced vacation from work. So even though I've continued to tinker a bit, because not weirdly, contractors who we've been doing stuff with didn't stop until Friday. Mm-hmm. And so we're still checking stuff in. And so I was just making sure that all that was fine. But I didn't really take too much time or focus too much on it. I spent time, just relaxing, spending it with family, playing games here and there. Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, we are definitely going to get into things we've been playing recently as well. I forgot to mention that. We are also going to talk about those games that are not on our GOTY list, but things that we've been tinkering with. So we will also mention those things. Well, I'm glad everything's going well with you. Why don't we jump right into our Game of the Year discussion? And just as a reminder for everyone, we each have our top 5 lists. And then together we do the math and we figure out what the Prof and Dev Play Games podcast Game of the Year is and make a nice little graphic and send it on to the developers. And the way we do the math is basically number 5 on the list for both of us gets 1 point, and then 4 gets 2 points, 3 gets 3 points, 2 gets 4 points, and 1 gets 5 points. We add them together, and then whoever numerically has the most points is our Game of the Year for the year. So why don't we, without much further ado, jump into your number 5?
It would be, this is the one game that needed the exception, Hollow Knight. Still haven't beat it. It's hard as hell at times. But it's an incredibly well executed game. Oh my god, the amount of content and exploration in that game is kind of insane. I would say it could be higher if I liked platformers more.
Yeah.
And also didn't get myself trapped in a certain area for way longer than I enjoyed.
Was that Hollow Nest? Not Hollow Nest.
I don't remember the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was on a giant spiked chasm,
mm-hmm.
and I should really have not gone there right then because I didn't have the necessary upgrade to get out of there. What I consider the easy way. I had to jump back up that spiked chasm and really land my it was very technical, and I would say the platforming in Hollow Knight isn't the strongest.
No, it's not.
So it was really frustrating. That was the point. I was like, I don't know if I can keep playing this game. I might just be done at this point, but I forced myself through. So I think without that, it would have moved up the list more, but that was just the one slight thing of feeling annoyed by the game. But beyond that, I mean, it's just incredible for the amount of work that has gone into it, the amount of content that they kept putting out and is in there, and it keeps going, and you find more, and there's new things to find and more abilities. It's pretty incredible.
I love the way that they put new stuff in it. They didn't put it in a way that was really obvious. There were some new, the first DLC content drop was hidden behind a false wall in a cave in the Howling Cliffs, I think, and you might not ever find it.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of content in the game like that. They don't expect that everyone's going to see all the content.
Correct. Lots of
which is fine.
Stuff.
Yeah. I've been really happy with that game. I'm glad you told me to buy it, gave me the cash and told me to buy it. Because I'm very happy to have played it. And I still need to go back. I want to play more of it. Other things distracted me. I think that was... I don't remember what specific game it was. I have a couple guesses, though.
Yeah, it was right in the end of summer, I think, is when you picked it
up.
Well, I'm glad that you did, because I thought it would be something, aside from the platforming, I thought it would be something that you could really dig your teeth into. Is that dig your teeth into?
Yeah.
Bite your teeth into? I'm losing my idioms right now. But
from a design standpoint, there's definitely things that I would kind of change about it. Like I said, that one annoyance spot. There's some visual stuff that I'd probably change. There's certain things that enemies and hazards and bad things blend into the background sometimes.
Yeah.
Too much. It's really easy to not see things, and it gives that feeling of, oh, I wasn't paying enough attention. It was oh, I just got screwed by the dev. Because how am I supposed to pay attention to all this stuff because it's so busy sometimes?
Are you thinking about those enemies that are hidden bushes and roam around kind of thing?
Kind of like that, and there's there's just been there were a couple times in the game that it was really hard to visually parse what was bad. Certain zones, I think the grass area was a really big one. There's had a lot of stuff. I'm if I could quickly parse things better, I would do better. But I guess rinse, repeat, practice. Hopefully you get that pattern recognition. I never got it completely. I still made stupid mistakes later, but that was my only other minor complaint from an overall pretty well put together game.
I feel like there are some places where I made those mistakes too, even after like 50 hours, simply because the input from the Switch, like the Joy-Con, was not as precise as I needed it to be for Hollow Knight. And it, not so much the devs in those cases as just the fucking, the Switch, the Joy-Con in that case.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too much for me. It was just a minor annoyance. I felt pretty good that I beat the game with the Joy-Con.
So yeah, that's my number 5.
Awesome. Well, my number 5, and this will give you some sort of hint about how great of a year it has been. My number 5 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Wow.
Yeah, I think this would, in a different year, be higher up on my list. And maybe if I had played with it longer, although I think I probably would still seat it number 5 on the list, considering what else is on my list. It's just a perfect game for the Switch. I know we say this a lot for different games, but it's really just to pick up and go. Play it for 10 minutes, play a couple rounds in World of Light, or right now there's the Spirit boards. A bunch of Fire Emblem characters are up there, so it's kind of nice to go through and collect some of those spirits from Fire Emblem. But there's just such reverence for gaming history in this game. Like the way that the characters or the items or the assist trophies, like just the little details really give a huge nod to the games that these characters came from. Even down to the stages. Like I unlocked Mr. Game & Watch today, and just his stage is basically a Game & Watch machine that you're playing in. It's just it's like a gaming museum, like a living gaming museum. And there is just a ridiculous amount of content. There are so many modes that I haven't even tried yet, or I've only tried once. I was like Squad Strike and Tourneys and obviously regular Smash, but also special Smash. You can set up all these different kind of special rules. The online for me is working really well. I've been having a lot of fun playing online. Haven't had any slowdown. I've been playing 4-on-4, 1-on-1, team. It's all been working really well for me. And just the fact that there are so many characters. I know there are only, maybe 6, 7, a handful of new characters to Ultimate, but there are a lot of characters from Melee that I never played. For example, I unlocked Pichu today. Never have I played Pichu. I don't even know what a Pichu is. Is it does Pikachu evolve from a Pichu? Are those related?
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
If that is the case, it came later in Pokemon's run, but
because I'm playing it,
maybe?
It plays like Pikachu, and it says, I don't know, it just seems weird.
Pichu.
But when you hit the B button and you just shoot out a little lightning, I don't know if it's the same for Pikachu, but when you do it with Pichu, it actually hurts him. It adds 1% to his damage, which is kind of interesting.
I don't think so with Pikachu.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that with Pikachu like I have with Pichu. But there's just all these new characters. Like I haven't, when I finally unlock Snake, it'll be the first time I played with him. I just got Ice Climbers, never played with them. For me, there's tons of new characters. And I just like how they're all really well balanced, so far at least. And it's interesting that Sakurai said recently he didn't have anything to do with balancing this time, because it seems to be a lot of high tier or top tier characters, at least so far in the game. It's been a lot of tournaments. I was listening to a podcast this morning. There's been 120 or 150 tournaments already since the game launched, and there's been winners from tons of different players, tons of different characters. I mean, so it's nice to see that there's at least evolving tons of different viable options to play competitively. Just in terms of playing locally with friends or by myself or online with friends, it just seems like I can do damage with many different characters, and I feel like I'm learning a bunch of different characters at once, and it feels really fun. And it's just the ultimate multiplayer game for me, just to jump in and kick my friend's ass and just collect battle tags. It's been a lot of fun. So that is my number 5. What do you got?
So I guarantee you my number 4 is something that you have not played. Your life wouldn't allow you probably to play this right now. Nor would I think you'd really want to. But for me, number 4 is BattleTech. Got to be on here somewhere. I'm sure it's partially tossed up to nostalgia from the fact that I've been following BattleTech since 7th grade. Had books, board game stuff.
Nicknames.
There's a lot from that universe that just has had a very big influence on me during my adolescent years and growing up. And to have a pretty true video game to it, not not the Mech Warrior simulation stuff, but actually a tactical strategy game that does justice to the tabletop game, while also updating and changing things to fit a more modern design. I've spent dozens of hours in this game playing, and then playing the new Flashpoint DLC came out that gave me the ability to just say, hey, I'm not going to play story. I'm going to make my own story. I'm going to be my own mercenary company, and I just start, and I need to, pay my crew, keep my mechs working. So just take jobs around the galaxy, try to align yourself with different factions, and then it had a bunch of new short story, basically, missions that all linked together, little clumps of all linked together missions, which have been really fun and challenging. I will say this game is challenging, and there has been a few times where I've rage quit it. Just Alt F4, I'm out. There's a lot of randomness in the game. That's where it's true to the tabletop. There is a chance that someone might get a headshot on your mech with a really strong weapon, and in just one shot your mech, you're one of your pilots and kill them one shot out of the blue. I mean, it's rare, but it's possible. And that can be really rage-inducing sometimes. But I accept it because that's what the tabletop worked, and that's what it's going for. That is BattleTech. That is what is going on. But it was probably the strategy game that I dug my teeth into the most this entire year, and it really gave me something new out of the tactical genre on the PC. It wasn't trying to be an XCOM clone. It really was just giant mechs moving across a battlefield that was really decently well rendered, executed well, had a decently cool story. I would say that overall it's better than the sum of its parts, and then add nostalgia in for it, and it's number 4 for me.
Who's the developer on this game?
Harebrained Schemes.
What else have they done?
And all the Shadowrun games.
Oh, okay.
So they're owned and ran by the guy who created BattleTech back in the 80s, and Shadowrun. He's the FOSSA, the Jordan Weissman. Mm-hmm. He created these worlds and created the tabletop. And he actually went into video games back in the 90s when his company FOSSA, they started doing the Mech Warrior games. He didn't do it himself, but then he made like FOSSA Entertainment and went to Microprose, bought them back in the day, which is another publisher. And then that got picked up by FOSSA Interactive. They did a couple like real-time mech games, strategy games. They got bought by Microsoft. Mm-hmm. And he became the creative director at Microsoft for many years. He oversaw like the creative director of Halo, like the studio while Halo was being done. Mm-hmm. And Mech Assaults, there's a number of FOSSA games. The notoriety of all those is the Shadowrun PC game, which was terrible. Not the new ones that Harebrained made, but there was an FPS Counter-Strike-esque Shadowrun game. Oh, no. And it was terrible.
Oh, no.
Well, actually, it was a decent game, but it wasn't Shadowrun.
It wasn't Shadowrun, right.
And you're like, what the hell are you making here? This is like deep RPG you should be making, not CS shooter thing with magic and fantasy cyberpunk elements. So he has a long history, but he has done a number of other companies, but Harebrained is his current one, and they just got purchased by Paradox. After BattleTech released, it did so well, Paradox bought them.
Oh, wow.
Because Paradox was the publisher of BattleTech. Mm-hmm. So that's like the 6th company he's sold in his lifetime.
Wow.
He's very good at starting companies and selling them. Really good at it.
I wish I was good at that. Then I could just play video games the rest of my life.
You would think that he would too, or take early retirement, but he just keeps wanting to do more things.
It just must be fun to create.
It is fun. He loves, that's the thing, like talking to him, he loves the aspect of creating, not just creating the ideas and putting like the game design out, but also just creating companies and putting that structure into place, and like that startup mentality. He really enjoys that space. So, it's kind of crazy to think that he's done it again with BattleTech, and it's there. And they have 2 more DLCs coming out this next year. Some Urban Warfare one, and then one they haven't said specifically what it is. So,
is it some sort of season pass thing, or do you buy them just?
There's a season pass.
Oh, okay.
You can get. That just went up like a month ago. Once they said, "Hey, we're going to do more," so here's a season pass if you want to get it for a discount on all 3.
Right.
So. Yeah, it's my number 4. It's a well worth it for anyone who really likes really deep strategy games, and there's a lot to tinker and mess with there, from pilots to mechs to finding your own unique combinations on how you want to use skills and weapons together.
Sounds like a rabbit hole that is like specifically tailor-made for you.
It kind of is, and it's great.
That's awesome.
And it probably will never come to consoles, so enjoy. It's PC only.
It'd be hard. Do you think it'd be hard to map that to a controller?
No harder than they've mapping like XComs or anything like that.
Okay.
Like, we'll see. Paradox, now that they're owned by Paradox might put some money behind another outsourced thing pushing it.
There are lots of PS4s consoles out there.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's built on Unity, so it can run anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, cool. It'd be on Switch then.
Maybe, probably not.
Yeah, who knows? I think everyone wants to put their stuff on Switch because it seems to sell well. But that's, I don't know. Maybe get panic button on it. Speaking of Switch, my number 4 game is a game that I played on Switch, and I just was obsessed with this game all summer long. Could not stop playing it until I beat it, and I thought at that moment that it would be my number 1 game of the year. But here it is, number 4, and it's Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is my number 4 game for a lot of reasons that you spoke about. It just consumed my life in a way that kind of AC Odyssey did, where it's just like I just have really distinct, clear memories of like going to my favorite tea shop, getting this sweet boba tea, and just sitting down and playing for hours, and just having like my nice break and just sitting down and just tearing through this game, all the different environments, like finding all the little secrets, like just traipsing around, discovering new things, going online, looking at forums, seeing how other people have been playing. I cannot remember the name of the little jewels or whatever that give you different powers that you kind of mix and match. I forget what they're called, but I really liked that system. I thought it added a lot of depth to the game, and I would switch out my
badges.
Maybe badges. Oh, maybe you're right. Badges.
Is it badges or emblems?
Something like that. So I would switch out my kit depending on if I'm facing a boss or trying to run back to a boss or just exploring. I really liked the variety of the bosses. I thought they were tough as nails, and it was fun, quote unquote, to like beat my head against the wall 50 times and on the 51st time beat them and just shout in that tea shop, just like, yeah, and people just staring at me.
It is a great game with the bosses on the fact that you beat your head against them, but you definitely start to learn like, oh, I know what I need to do now. And once you learn it, then it all just, you're like, okay, I just need to execute this plan. I know this works if I just can execute.
Exactly.
And most of the bosses I've fought were like that. It was very, you could quickly, not quickly, after a few times, you'd start getting an idea of what they do. And you're like, okay, I got this. Well, and then they might change up halfway through, and then you're fucked.
Right, but you like learn the opening patterns, then you get to the second form or whatever. You're like, that's with the Radiance, the final boss, where you beat the Hollow Knight basically and go into his dreams and fight the Radiance. So at first, that initial fight was really hard, and then you've done it like 100 times, and you just like down pat, get through that easily, and then get to the Radiance, and then get to the final fight. And it was 100 times. I counted 100 times before I beat the final boss, and I was just like rage texting Brad, just like, I can't fucking do this. And he's like, I'll try this or do this. This is how I did that. And just like, I know this thing I'm doing is going to work. Exactly what you said. I just need to execute properly. And I was just fucking it up over and over again. And it's just one of those cases where you put it down, come back the next day, pick it up, do it the first time. And it just felt like, I don't think I've had a gaming achievement like I have beating Hollow Knight, beating the true ending of Hollow Knight. Just such a great game. I really like the way the skill upgrades, where you find like the crystal heart or all the other things to give you put the Metroid into this game, where you get the skill and can traverse in new areas. And then I think something that stood out for me in a negative way. Some of the things that you said earlier resonated with me, but I felt like, in all these Metroidvania games, it's like Super Metroid, which I played for the first time this year, you're traipsing through the same areas over and over again. But with Super Metroid, it's like a 10 to 14 hour experience.
Yeah.
With Hollow Knight, I played it for 65 hours, and by that point, I was really kind of tired of the areas. But they did a really smart thing with one of the areas, which this is going to be a spoiler for you. I don't know if you don't want to hear a spoiler.
Go ahead.
But there's one place that it's kind of the central hub where you're going all the way through, back and forth, coming down from the town that you start out, Hollow Nest. Halfway through the game, when you beat a certain boss, that area changes. So it does. I think they realize that you're just kind of going through that same area over and over again, so they wanted to change it up, and they really do in an interesting and somewhat annoying way. So I thought that was a nice nod toward that monotony that was kind of setting in around hour 40 or so. And then just the sense of exploration, just beating down all these different walls, trying to see if there was a secret, getting into all these secret optional places. Like I found, I forget what the boss is called, like Husk or something. Like you're going underground, and as you're going further and further, you start to see yourself ahead of you, and then you kind of try to get closer, and then it runs away. And then when you finally get to this cavern where you're going to have this boss fight, your like doppelganger basically flips upside down, and it turns on into like the mandibles of this insect creature. I think it's called Husk or something like that. And it's a pretty interesting boss fight. But just stumbling across cool charms. That's the fucking word. Charms.
Charms.
Cool charms, or interesting optional bosses, or breaking new routes to go, shortcuts to come back. Just captured my entire summer, and I just loved it so much. Couldn't put it down. And I'm hoping to replay it on PS4 eventually. But Hollow Knight's my number 4 game.
All right. I was expecting that higher.
So was I. Fuck.
So my number 3, which you've mentioned before, is Smash.
Nice.
This is the first Smash Brothers I put significant time into since Melee. Is that GameCube?
GameCube is Melee. Yeah.
Yeah, since GameCube. And at GameCube, I still didn't even play a ton. That was not a main game I played in college. We just had to have it because it's a great party game, especially for college. But really digging back in to a Smash game, and this one especially, holy shit, there's so much there.
Oh my gosh.
And it feels so good.
Yeah.
So good. Every character feels great. And I cannot overstate the amount of uniqueness for all the fighters. Like you mentioned, like every fighter has like those little touches that really make them their own. Like it's not... Smash itself is not a super complex fighting game. There's limited amount of moveset. They don't try to do crazy thumbstick stuff, even though they tie it, as you said, they put it in for Ken and Ryu, because it fits for Street Fighter. Like you want to do your fireballs basically. Right. But you don't have to. It's an optional thing you can just do for fun, which is again, great touch, and they do that for everybody. Like, everyone gets a little something. All 74 fighters I can tell so far, and I have close to 40 at this point.
Oh, wow, I jumped over you. I have like 57 right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. You've probably played more than me.
I have about 20 hours so far. Yeah.
Isabella's kicked my ass many times.
Dude, she whooped fucking just melted my face about 6 or 7 times before I finally beat her. She's great. She's fun to play as, man. Oh my god.
I'm sure. But basically, this game has just, no matter how I want to play the game, there is something to do. Do I want to play it online? Sure. Like I haven't had issues with online, but I'm not playing it super competitively.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think it works great for the casual online fan. I can see people complaining. I see and understand the much more competitive player not being happy with the online right now. Fine, that will be fixed. Online's been great. Classic mode has been fantastic.
Oh my god, it's my favorite part of the game.
The is it World of Light?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
World of Light has been a ton of fun.
Yep.
Again, it's super easy to just jump in, do a few fights, and then get out. Just with a little bit of time. some of the best times recently I've been having is just playing normal Smash mode with the family. Completely destroying my kids, but they're getting better. My son is getting quite a bit better.
Yeah.
My daughter has learned that she can move the joystick properly now, so she can move left and right and jump and go left and right. So,
but no attacks.
Sometimes, or she'll do the same attack over. But there's some learning is happening. Like it's happening, but it's fun to watch. They really like the characters.
Do they have favorites?
For my son,
sorry.
Yes, my daughter really likes Peach.
Oh, nice.
And my son has jumped around a lot, but really his most successful games have been with Wii Fit Trainer.
Oh my god. Okay.
He picked it one time because he just chose random at one time and he got Wii Fit Trainer and he did really well. And he's like, all right, I'm going to play that more. But he's also played a fair amount of Samus as well. He really enjoys Samus.
I like her in this game. She seems more viable than in the past, and especially Zero Suit Samus is fucking amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, for all that, it is just an incredible game. It's an incredible package. It really is the ultimate version of Smash Brothers. They're not lying in the title. This is it. This is the Smash platform. Hopefully for like this entire generation.
I hope they keep adding.
Like just keep adding to this because this is it. This is all you need to do. You just add to this. Fix the small annoyances with the online and like rankings and matchmaking and stuff like that. Just they continue to work on that and to continue to add fighters. This is it. Like they don't need another Smash for a very long time. So I don't have a lot of complaints with it. It's been a ton of fun. It's Smash. It's rage-inducing sometimes, but that's Smash. And all I do is go, well, I should get better.
Have you unlocked Mega Man yet?
No, I haven't.
Man, I hit him today, and it took me like 4 or 5 times to beat him because you have to fight him on his Mega Man stage, and the Yellow Devil appears, so you have that stage hazard while you're trying to beat him. But man, I don't know if he's been buffed for this game. He seems a lot better than in 4, so he's fun. I hope you get him soon.
The last one I've been playing a lot with is Cloud.
Oh, I don't have Cloud yet.
I've been having a blast with Cloud.
Awesome.
Holy crap. Just fun moveset. Not simple moveset. You know what the buttons you need to press are. It's just fun to watch what they do and how they interact when you're doing the different combinations on each character. And he just has some really fun attacks, and he builds a limit gauge.
I love that limit break.
And you get to have some fun.
Yeah.
There's always something new in that game so far. Like, play it for 15 minutes, you'll fight a new character.
Yep.
It's just definitely a game I'm going to be coming back to. I know it's in my number 3 of 2018, but I'm going to be playing it through all 2019.
Yeah.
And further. It's just going to be one of those games that's like, oh, I've got some time. I could play a little bit of Smash. My kids are going to want to play Smash. My wife's going to want to play Smash. So.
Well, it's my like on the Smash for 3DS. When I had it with me, I'd play it all the time. Like I got like 100 hours into that game. So this is going to be even more, I assume, because it's like you said, it's the ultimate package. It has everything, even just the soundtrack. Just sitting and listening to some of the music while I'm doing some writing or doing something else has been great. I don't know. There's so much to it. Let's real quick before we move on to my number 3. Top 3 fighters in Smash for you.
I mean, that I've played so far?
Yeah, exactly.
The ones that I've enjoyed the most so far from playing them, Cloud is number 3, Simon, and then Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff is always number 1. How can Puff not be number 1?
I think I'd go...
My family won't let me play Puff anymore.
Really? So. Because you just destroy them?
Yes, with a Puff.
With a little pink puff ball.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think number 3 for me would be Incineroar. Number 2 would be actually Richter. I thought I would like playing as Simon, but for some reason I like Richter better. It might be the blue flame.
I don't have Richter yet. So
oh, really?
Maybe I'll like Richter more.
Yeah, I don't know. He just feels a little different. I feel like he's a little faster in the blue flame as opposed to the fire. I don't know. I like him better. And then number 1, Zero Suit Samus. I just can't. Yep. I can't get away from my main. I love her so much. Okay, so for me, number 3, and I think this might have been higher on my list if I had finished it, but I know it's going to be one of my favorite games of the year, and I wanted to put it on here. It's Astrobot VR. Astrobot Rescue Mission VR. It's a 3D platformer in virtual reality. You're just controlling like a 3D platformer. You're seeing your dude. You're collecting some of your friends who have been scattered all across these different levels, breaking down secret walls, like just using all of your senses. Not all of your senses. Sorry. You're leaning around. You're breaking things with your head. You're just exploring with your body, basically, moving around the house, basically looking in this 3D environment. And it really is just like taking 3D platformers to a new level. It is stunning how amazing the game is. And I know it's so stupid to talk about VR games because you don't really get them until you play them. Yeah. But you're there, and it's really clever the way that this game is built out. They add all these new skills using lots of different buttons on the trackpad. And there's just it's like playing Mario 64 for the first time. It really is. Just that sense of wonder and awe, and just like, I'm always smiling when I'm playing this game. Like, it is so clever, so fun, just a joy to play. It really is like a super, super enjoyable game for me. I've really enjoyed the boss fights. They're pretty clever use of the virtual reality space and like reaching in, grabbing things, throwing them around with the controller. It's just using every inch of the virtual space to play a platformer. And I have a soft spot for platformers anyways. 3 of the top 5 in my list here are platformers, and Smash Brothers is a platform fighter, so maybe 4 of the 5 are there for me. But it's every level is so varied, different biome, different skills. It's amazing. It really is like it's a game that, if you loved Super Mario 64, it's a game that you have to play, because it is that to the next level, and it is just so fucking clever, so well done. It is. I wouldn't say, for me, it was the system seller. Once those Black Friday deals hit and it got down to $200, like, I knew that I was going to buy it because I wanted to play this game. Because, like, listening to all the reviews or reading them, watching people doing Let's Plays, and kind of just seeing what the game was about, I'm a sucker for platformers, and I had to play it. So it was a system seller for me. I wouldn't say it's a system seller for you, because you're not as into platformers as I am, but it's something that, if I can bring my VR unit up to Seattle when I see you in February, I want you to play this game first. Okay. Because it's really, really good. And my wife, even, not really a gamer, she was doing like one of the demos, and I was like, hey, why don't you try this game? And I thought she'd play it for like a minute and kind of bounce. No, she played for about 10 minutes, played 2 or 3 levels, just really enjoyed it. So it's a game that has something for everyone, I think, but it's just 3D platformer, collectathon, clever, smart, really just amazing. So that's my number 3.
I look forward to trying that at some point in the future, either with you or if I get a VR, a PSVR. So yeah, my number 2. You haven't played this one either, although you've just picked it up, and I get to play it with you, and I'm super excited. Monster Hunter World.
Oh shit, yeah.
I had to remember, like, for the longest time, I'm like, oh right, that did come out this year. I did spend 115 hours in this game, right. Obsessing over it, thinking about it at every minute when I wasn't playing it, watching like strat videos, watching streams, just trying to understand this game and get better at it. So from a design standpoint, it is a super complex game, but really gets boiled down to fight monsters that give you loot to build gear that allow you to fight other monsters without gear necessarily, I would say, constantly going up in power level. Like, there's a lot of, like, you just need specific gear for certain resistances based on the fight you're going to do. So there's it's a game of, like, planning for the monster you're going to fight. A lot like Witcher in that way. Very fitting that Geralt is showing up.
Exactly. I'm still not sure if he's going to be playable the whole game or if it's just like a secret side mission.
Oh,
yeah. I bought it anyway, so.
The game is... it's the first Monster Hunter that I was able to really get into. I had Generations on the 3DS, and I bounced so hard off of... It was that one. I think I might have had one before it, too, because My friend Carl is really, really into the Monster Hunter games on 3DS. He was super into the 3DS Monster Hunter games. I was just like, I got to try it, and I just never could do it. And Worlds is it. Like, it's faster to get into. It puts things up front more. It gives, while still not easy to grasp and has like a lot of things you need to manage, it presents it in a way that feels manageable and gets you into the action of fighting the monsters quicker. So it puts you on that like treadmill much sooner and starts giving you those so you feel the incentive push to keep playing and doing runs, trying to get different gear, to mine different materials and resources, the whole thing. And then the multiplayer is a little strange. It's probably been some of the best co-op gaming I've done forever. When it was just me and my 2 other friends would just get on and play for hours at night, way later than I should most nights, and we're just fighting these just enormous monsters and battles, and just tons of communication and talking about like, hey, I'm doing this and that, you go here, all right. I don't know, like, it's rare for a game like one that's been going around for so long, but to come out and just really be like, oh, I get this now. Like, I really get this, and I get why these games are so popular. And I think Worlds is the best iteration of that formula.
Yeah, it's interesting that how many games there have been in this series to this is the one that's kind of, I don't know if mainstream is the right word, but has pulled in so many new players. Like they
streamlined a ton of systems. It still has a lot of what I call bullshit in it.
Technical term.
But they've cut out a ton of the really arcane stuff from the other games. That was just like, oh my god, do I really have to make sure I have pickaxes with me and shovels and stuff, so if I come across stuff while I'm out there that I can still farm resources. No, they get rid of all that, so you don't have to carry all this cumbersome stuff around. They make it much more accessible to use all the things, and it looks good, so that probably also helped for mainstream.
I'm looking so forward to playing this game with you. Probably when Geralt launches, or maybe I should get in earlier and just figure out what the fuck the thing's all about.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that's been great about it is what I learned was if you don't like the game basically has 16 play styles.
Oh yeah, because of different weapons, right?
And they are drastically different play styles. So part of the like first probably dozen hours that I'm playing the game is just me trying out different weapons until I find something that I'm like, oh, I like this one. I feel really good with it, which mine was Insect Glaive.
Isn't that like the most difficult one in the game?
I don't know. I don't think it's that. No, I don't think it's that difficult.
Oh, okay.
There are some of I would say the slower weapons are the harder ones. They do so much damage and they're great, but you really have to practice to know your timings.
Right.
Because you'll do a lot of wind-ups, so you need to have studied the monster you're fighting to read when they're winding up to charge or do something, so that you'll be in your swing at the right times to like stun them or disrupt their attacks. There's a lot of depth to that piece of the game. Insect Glaive is just a lot of I'm in the air all the time, flipping around, doing crazy shit,
right.
Which I love. It's the thing, like I went through not every weapon. I went through probably 7 or 8 weapons before I settled on Insect Glaive. But I had friends that they liked the long sword, which is the more traditional weapon. Like one was using dual daggers. All very unique playstyles. So I don't know. That part of the game is great, and especially if you get bored, you can be like, "Oh, I'll try a new weapon. Let's go." And you'll need to craft it up, so you'll be starting lower monsters again that are easier while you're learning and
but
building
same character, right? You can just switch weapons with the same. Okay.
Yep. That's the whole thing with it, is the fact that there isn't as much scale to the power level of things as much as it is just needing the right equipment for the job. So
this is why I'm wondering if you can play as Geralt in the entire game, because I can't imagine Geralt using an Insect Glaive.
I don't know what they would do. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what they can get away with and what they'll let Geralt use.
Right.
or if he'll be locked into his swords specifically, which is probably the case. But
yeah, I mean, all the I guess the promo stuff that I've seen for it is him using swords, so I can't imagine him flying all around with insect glaives.
Yeah,
but I guess we'll see.
So yeah, that is my number 2.
All right, my number 2 is the next platformer on my list. It's Celeste. And
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, honestly, this was the one that I couldn't decide if it was going to be number 1 or number 2. Celeste hit, I think it was in January, and that was, with my budget that kind of fell apart toward the middle of the year. I was just like, wait to buy it. And I bought it maybe in March or April and just got hooked immediately, put down for a little bit, and then came back and beat it. But it's just a pixel perfect platformer. There's like some fun mechanics. It is tough as nails. Great soundtrack, which we'll get to later. A really nice pixel art. And the thing that really pushed it over the edge for me and put it above Hollow Knight was the story. The story was a lot about anxiety, panic, depression, and like climbing your personal mountain and getting over it. And the way that the systems of the game were built into the story, where like you feel like you can't do it, you can't play this game anymore because it's just so tough, and it just encouraged you with like these little placards saying like you can do it, live your dream or whatever. But then that has assist mode where you can do different turn on different assists to help you get an extra jump or make sure you don't lose your stamina or whatever else to assist yourself as you're playing. So that was nice to make it accessible to people who couldn't hang with the toughness, and I think I might need to turn those on for B-sides or C-sides, which are harder and harder iterations of the levels. And I saw on Twitter that Matt Thorsten is putting out more levels for Celeste in 2019 to say goodbye to Celeste. So maybe it'll be in my top 5 for 2019. We'll see. Just felt fair. Like, I don't know if Meat Boy is fair, but when you die in Meat Boy, you just instantly come back, and it's just quick to go. That's how this was. And I think I died it counts your deaths. I think I died 1,200 times in this game. But
Holy cow.
You just keep coming back so quickly. It just doesn't feel hard. And then at the end, you're platforming with no platforms, getting to the top of these mountains. You're just kind of dancing through the air. And it just, every moment felt fair, even though it was really difficult. And I felt like it added something to the genre of platformers, which I feel like was happening this year with Astrobot and Celeste. Just the mechanics of the air dashing and the stamina and the story. Like a platformer with a really good story. Like Celeste just hit on all cylinders for me this year, and it was very nearly my number 1. But in the back half of the year, I stumbled upon my love, which may be your number 1 as well. So let's roll into that.
Is it abbreviated ACO?
It sure is. ACO. Assassin's Creed Origins. Just kidding.
Oh, right. No.
Fucking hell.
That might have been some poor marketing choice there, but whatever.
Odyssey, man.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
My God.
I love this game. I love it so much.
Me too.
Best Assassin's Creed they probably ever made. Hands down, I'm pretty sure.
Well, and you played more than me. You played until now, I think people hold Black Flag and AC2 as like the top of the game. But this
I think Odyssey is better.
Yeah.
I think it executes on all the ideas it's trying to do better than 2 and Black Flag. And it executes on really doing leaning into the RPG and the open world.
Right.
Where I always felt like the open world of those other ones wasn't, because of how they're designed, there was always a fight between the open world and the memories, basically, of the very structured, like, okay, now you're going to go into a specific sequence, where I feel ACO executes on the, like, much more free form falling into those,
right?
Which feels a lot better, and honestly. But yeah, it has actually deep RPG elements, which I was not expecting how well they pulled those off.
In terms of the tree plus the dialogue stuff, or?
Tree plus dialogue plus the itemization and the engravings, especially the engravings. Mm-hmm. It seems pretty. When I first started the game, I was like, "Oh, this is pretty standard. There's 3 damage types, whatever. Like percentages go up and down in those." about a third of the way through the game when you start seeing the legendary engravings and start seeing how those interact with your skills and weapons, it started to make a lot more sense, and I started seeing the depth of the system. So it starts out looking like it's kind of shallow, but it's not. There's a lot to do there, and there's a lot of combos to think through and plan, and you can really build your character however you want to play in this game, which has been pretty fantastic. What else about? I mean, Cassandra.
I was going to say Cassandra. The voice actress is great.
Yeah.
Her range is amazing.
Her range is amazing. The mocap for her and facial capture is incredible.
That stood out to me.
Love the eye rolls. The eye rolls are so good.
Oh god, especially with Socrates.
Yeah.
But the facial animations really stuck out to me the first 10 hours, and that, since gotten used to them. But I was it struck me how lifelike she was.
Yes.
So good.
I mean, that has been fantastic. I overall have really enjoyed the story. I've enjoyed her story, I guess his story if you're playing Alexios.
Right.
It had great twists and turns of like epic Greek tragedies, which was very fitting for what it's trying to tell. Like very larger than life, which I appreciated. Great comedy when it needed it, like some great levity at right times. Like they really nailed when they needed to like cut the intensity of the game a bit, and it works. And I really did think it worked. I laughed and didn't feel like it undermined the overall tone of the game at all.
Well, it's so interesting the way that those things hit, because the developers don't necessarily know when you're going to hit them, because they could pace it out with the main quest, but then you're off doing 100 side quests. Yeah. They don't know when you're going to hit that weird Minotaur quest in Crete or Testicles.
Testicles.
Oh my god. For me, the thing that I love the most is how lost I got. It just really reminded me of Breath of the Wild, where very, very often I would, finish a quest or whatever and say, "Whoa, what's over there? What's that question mark?" Or on my way to a question mark, I would get diverted by 6 other things. Like, "Oh, what's this thing?" And everything was worth my time. Like, I never felt like I was wasting a moment in that game. And I really enjoyed, kind of keeping pace with you a little bit at the beginning, and then just my friend Brad here just hammering me like, "Keep playing. Don't stop. Don't get distracted. Don't play something else. Beat it before Smash Brothers, because I know you're gonna get distracted when Smash comes," which I did. But I managed to beat the game, at least the storyline, family storyline, before Smash came out.
Yeah, and then you just recently beat the artifact storyline.
Yeah, I think last night or night before.
Yeah, 2 nights ago, I think.
Yeah,
I can check my tape.
And I just wrote you like, what the fuck? Like the twist at the end was, which I should have seen coming, considering what happened with Pythagoras at the end when he died. Spoiler, sorry.
Yeah.
Duh.
Don't you want to know all the stories though now?
I do. I really do.
I'm like, what has she done for 1,000 years at this point?
Right, exactly. Where'd she go? What'd she see?
And clearly she's dressed in modern clothes.
Yep.
I'm just like, what have you done? I want these stories. I want to know.
Right. Yeah.
Give them to me.
It tells me that there's way more to do with this. And actually it set me up. I wonder if, and maybe you think the same thing, the Atlantis DLC is not Cassandra.
It may not be. Or it might be still. It could be
Layla. I think it's Layla.
Yeah, it's Layla, but it could be her going back to Cassandra, because who knows? Cassandra might have gone back there and explored Atlantis more.
Right.
As well.
She had plenty of time to do it.
Yeah. So,
oh my god.
I mean, that was one of the things. I think the storylines, like finishing the family storyline, felt good. Like it felt like a nice conclusion. I liked all the characters there and the choices, and it really was like, okay, this game's all been about family, and we get to conclude that, and that feels good. And then you finish the artifact storyline, and you get kind of that conclusion to Cassandra's or Alexios' storyline, who you spent the entire game with, and so you really get to see their ending. And then the cultist one is more, I would say, a side thing.
Yeah, and that's the one
So
I
you'll
haven't
finish it,
beaten.
and it's worthwhile to do. And
Okay.
it more is an interesting standpoint from, I wouldn't say like the modern day. It's not really about that, but it ties a lot more into the mythology of all the games. On like, well, what is the cult? What are they really trying to do? What's going on? And like, it clearly showing links to like the Templar Order and things like that in the future. But there's some neat twists to the Ghost is and everything going on as you lead up to it. So that was fun.
I'm pretty sure I figured out who the Ghost is.
I mean, if you start getting the clues, you should know.
Yeah,
like
well,
I had a guess.
I have 6 of 8 of them, and there's I know it's female, and of all the female characters I've seen, there's one that's pretty big that I haven't seen in a long time. That definitely was related to Pericles and Pericles' wife, I think.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is, but I'm still interested in it. I'm trying to track down a cultist at night just so I eventually get there. But it's definitely, in terms of the 3 main threads, it was the one on the back burner the most.
Yeah.
But it's 70 hours, 72 hours so far. Beat 2 of the 3 main storylines, and there's just question marks all over my map. There's places I haven't been yet. There's main quests I haven't done yet, I don't know if it's main quest, but like the exclamation mark people.
Yep.
Socrates stuff, Hippocrates stuff. There's so much more to do. It's like I have another AC Odyssey to play, plus all the DLC, plus the Greek Tales, plus all this other stuff. This is a game that, thank God, they don't have another AC coming out this year or next year, because there's just so much in this game, and it's for the most part all well done. I laughed a lot, felt some emotions, made some interesting choices that did have consequences. And I think I would love to go back through and play as Alexios and just kind of see how it feels different, even though I think the writing's the same for both of them.
Yeah.
But man, Cassandra's just so good. She's my favorite character, second favorite character from games this year. I think Madeline from Celeste is still my favorite character, but I
put Cassandra up there as like one of my favorite characters in games, period.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely gets up there with Female Shepherd.
Oh yeah,
as well. Like It's definitely on par. It just feels really good.
And that's the parallel that I kept making between FemShep and the other guy who I'd never played. Just what Jennifer Hale put into that role, but also just what was written for this character. And I feel like you could go. The Renegade Paragon thing was broader, I think, than what you get in ACO, but I think that the comparison is apt.
Yeah.
So I guess we don't need to do math. ACO is our game of the year.
Yeah. 10 points. Perfect score.
Yes, perfect score. It's a game that we spent, beginning of October, we got the early edition, the gold or whatever, and we just kept playing. Didn't stop. I played every night for like 2.5 months.
Oh, yeah.
And that hasn't happened for me with any other
99 hours.
Dang.
So close to a platinum. So close.
What do you need left? What do you have left?
I have to go find the underwater locations.
That's right. That seems to be the one that everyone has left.
That's it, and it just takes forever.
Yeah.
I have like 40, not 40, because I think there's 42 total. Yeah. I have like 30 left.
30 left? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It takes time to move across the map to find all of them, because a lot of them are out in the middle of the water.
Exactly. Well, I've seen people who are just like, just get the map online and just go to the place. Like, just don't even. I've just been trying to do them along the way, because I know that if I finished... Actually, no, I was going to say when I finish the game, I'd be close to the platinum, but I already finished the game, and I'm actually probably not. I'm 67% through the trophies.
You finish the cultist, you get very close to the platinum.
Oh, okay. Then I should keep moving through that. Cool. Well, that has been our top 5 of the year. If there's anything else that I missed?
No, that's it.
Okay. So just to recap Anthony's top 5, we'll go from 5 to 1. He was Hollow Knight. And then he was that handwriting there? Battletech, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Monster Hunter World, and then Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And for me, it was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Hollow Knight, Astrobot Celeste, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. When we come back from our break, we're going to talk about the top 3 games that we did not play. So stay there, and we'll be right back. All right, my friends, we are back from the break. That was a break necessitated by my 18-month-old waking up very, very early in the night. So I appreciate Anthony's patience. We're going to kind of move at a faster clip through the rest of this podcast. So sorry for that, but about half an hour of our time was eaten up with baby stuff. So I want to get to the top games for my friend Brad. He gave me two different lists once he heard that we were putting Hollow Knight on our list. When he said, "Hey, that came out last year," we're like, "Yeah, well, here's how it goes."
Here's our reasoning.
Yeah, exactly right. But he said, games that came out this year. His top 5 were number 1, God of War; number 2, Spider-Man; number 3, AC Odyssey; number 4, The Messenger; and number 5, Into the Breach.
Red Dead?
No, he hated it. Oh, he hated Red Dead.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. He, for all the reasons that you heard other people not like Red Dead, it's the same reason he did not like Red Dead. The gameplay, the moment-to-moment gameplay was just atrocious for him, and he just put it down, which he does not put games down. He plays games. He will play the shit. He put like 120 hours into AC Odyssey in the time that it took me to put 10. He plays.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Red Dead he could not at all. But God of War all year has just been one of his favorite games. And then Spider-Man, just how fun it was for him. He just really enjoyed, in that one, the moment-to-moment gameplay plus the story he thought was really good. But AC Odyssey was, he felt similar to the way we felt. Just a lot of things to explore, a lot of things to do. Just sucks you in. I think the last thing he did was the underwater locations as well.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a pretty common end scenario there.
Yeah, and then he's been evangelizing The Messenger. Just really like that.
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
Is it on the Switch now?
It is. Yeah, that's where I picked it up. Actually, I haven't started it yet, but that's where I picked it up.
All right.
So that's his list of games that came out this year. If he expands the games that he's played this year, that's
all very respectable on that list, I would say.
Yeah,
and a lot of games that I really want to play. God of War is one I just realized I'm never going to go back to play because of all the reasons we've talked about, the intensity of it.
Right.
It's incredibly well crafted, like so incredibly well crafted.
Right.
But holy crap, am I exhausted playing it, which is I just can't do anymore in my life right now. So, but yeah, everything I've seen, I now watched a stream for more than half of the game, and it's incredible. Just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I think we both talked about how you have to have like so much attention to it. Like it's not just because of the camera not cutting, but it's hard to maintain that attention for so long. I think I will go back to it though. Not for a while. So his list, it's an expanded list of games he played this year that he would rank in this order: God of War number 1, Spider-Man number 2, Metroid: Samus Returns, Hard and Fusion 100% runs number 3, AC Odyssey number 4, Beat Saber number 5, Messenger number 6, Hollow Knight number 7, StarCraft 2 Campaign Replay number 8, and then Into the Breach number 9.
Okay.
So I like that. Metroid's still in there.
I know. I watched on his Instagram tweet where he went all out on that. On Samus Returns, all out.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
And it just went to the hard and fusion, and just his time just kept getting less and less. He just really knows that game like the back of his hands. And then Beat Saber, so it's a game that I just got into yesterday. I can see why it's on his list. It's like in a VR environment playing your favorite rhythm game plus Fruit Ninja. Like put those two things together.
This is a great transition into what 3 games I really want to be playing next year.
Yeah.
That I really want. Beat Saber is one of them.
Oh my god.
God damn it, I want to play that game. I want to play that game so bad.
It is so good. And
I mean, I checked. So the Rift that I have doesn't have its controllers. Maybe I just need to go buy the Rift controllers.
Oh yeah, they're essential for that game, of course.
And then I'll need them for the VR. I'll need them for Beat Saber. Completely. But man, I'm like, maybe I just go buy the Rift controllers so I can just get Beat Saber on the PC and go to town, because God damn, I want to play that game.
It is, and PC is the place to play it because you can mod all the different songs that you want into it versus PS4. But the songs are so good for the base game, anyways. It is fucking incredible. It would have been on my list if I had put more time into it, I think.
Yeah.
So that's one of your 3.
Yeah. Another one, which was on Brad's list, Spider-Man. I need to play this game. I've had too many friends say that it's an actually incredible game, and one of the best takes on the Peter Parker Spider-Man story from comics or movies, wherever.
Oh,
so I'm in. I need to. I've been tempted a couple times because it went on flash sale.
Yeah, the $40.
I'm like, oh, is it time? Do I just do this now? I don't know. It's eating at the back of my skull right now if I should do this or not. And then on a smaller scale of another one that I really wanted to play is Return of the Obra Dinn.
Oh yeah, shit! I forgot about that.
I need to play that game.
Absolutely.
Again, I see it rising to the top of like best games of the year.
Yep.
And I've not been spoiled. Like, I know the basic premise of it.
Right. Me too.
But nothing else has been spoiled to me. I don't really know exactly what you'll be doing, like what the actual minute-to-minute gameplay is going to be. I don't know what the actual story of the game is. Anything. So I really, with people putting it at that high, I'm like, I really want to play this. I want to see what this game's all about.
It's going to be our Hollow Knight 2019 because it's the one that I desperately want to play because of everything I've heard. It's just like, this is up my alley. I need to play it on Switch. So,
yeah.
And I assume it's coming to Switch next year, so maybe I'm wrong.
I would hope.
Yeah, me too.
So those are my three that I'm like, okay, I want to play these.
Awesome. It's really interesting that both of us have Spider-Man at the top of our list, or near the top of our list.
Yeah.
Same thing. I didn't think I wanted to play it, and then hearing all the reactions, just the story plus the kind of the Arkham beat 'em up. I don't like Spider-Man, but it just seems like a great game, and this flash sale super tempted me. I think when it gets to 30 is when I'm going to jump. But that's my number one, Spider-Man. Number two, Guacamelee 2. I really want to get into Guacamelee. I like the first one a lot, and I think I've heard this one's better. So I grabbed that on my Switch when it was on sale, and I'm looking forward to playing that. And then the last one should have been Obra Dinn if I had remembered, but I didn't, so I'm going to stick with my guns here. It's actually Forza Horizon 4. Forza Horizon 4 is a game that I have on Xbox Game Pass, and it's something that is... I love Forza Horizon 2, I love Forza Horizon 3. It's a game that you can just jump in, jump out. There's not really a story or anything. It's just like race pretty cars all around. And it's... being in England, having lived there, like I want to go and be in that environment.
Yeah.
So I'm looking very forward to that. So transitioning from top three that we didn't play that we want to play into top soundtrack. I'll go first. I think it's pretty obvious if I give you one guess.
I know which one you're going to choose.
What do you think I'm going to say?
Celeste.
That's exactly right. Celeste. I can't stop listening to that soundtrack. I listen to it like at least 3 or 4 times a week.
It's really good.
Start to finish is so damn good. I wish it would have had one at the Game Awards. I think Red Dead Redemption 2 won. So, yeah, Celeste.
I think Celeste is pretty good. I just feel since I haven't played Celeste, I didn't choose it, although it is very good. Right. I think it would have more impact if I played the game.
Absolutely.
But the one I'm like, of all the soundtracks this year, and it's weird, it's only been in the last like week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. And I've been pretty much listening to this non-stop. It's the Hades soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Darren Korb, man. God damn, does he make good music. I mean, if you like Transistor's music or Bastions or Pyres or any of that.
Yeah, I do for sure.
It's less folksy than Pyre. But it's like more the bridge between Transistor and the more folk music. Lots of guitars, a little bit more rock going on at times, but still just incredible. They only have it up on YouTube right now. They have a playlist on Supergiant's page that's like, here's every song from Hades so far, and there will be more. And I just have that on loop, and I just have that on loop while I work pretty constantly. It's really good, and other than that, like, yeah, I've listened to Celeste a decent amount. I'm really trying to think of other ones. Octopath Traveler had a great soundtrack. I really enjoyed that soundtrack. But I really think it's this, like, just, I don't own Hades, but I listen to Hades a lot.
So you haven't played like a minute of that game?
Nope. I'm going to wait. Okay. I'm going to wait till further along in early access. Actually, when I look at it, it is a game I want on Switch or console. Like, the type of roguelike it is, I'd be happier just playing it on a console than having to sit down at my PC to play it. Because everything I've seen, it just plays best with a controller, even though I do have a controller on my PC. But I'm hoping it would eventually come to Switch, but it's going to probably be a while because they said it's going to at least be in early access for about a year. So who knows? I might break down and buy it at some point and try it. I watch streams and then just listen to this music and adore it. So yeah, that's my Black Sheep pick for best soundtrack.
That's so funny to pick a soundtrack for a game that you haven't yet played. But I mean, that just speaks to how good the game is.
I mean, Celeste was up there. I was like, I really do like the soundtrack, but I listen to Hades more now.
Right.
Like, but again, maybe if I played Celeste, that soundtrack would mean more to me.
Right.
If I'm just going by like what I feel listening to, Hades hits that spot for me better.
Right.
So
that's awesome.
And none of the other games I played, I'm like, oh, I love the soundtrack. And Smash is not on this list. I will not. I can't include Smash. It's
cheating.
Incredible. It is cheating. It's incredible. It's everything.
I thought the same thing. I almost put it today. I was like, that's just cheating. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So I won't put Smash, but that's the asterisk on Smash is, hey, look at all the songs you love from video games. They're here.
Yeah, that should be number one.
Best soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly right. That's a hard one to choose. I know you're pressed for time, so let's move on to the next one, which is just your favorite game moment. Either anything, however you want to define that.
That you put this on the list earlier today, and I was like, "Oh wow, what is my favorite moment?" The thing, like, but you really kind of just have to go with your gut whenever you're like, when you say, "What's your favorite game moment?" I do think it's testicles eaten by sharks.
Damn it, that's mine too. That's exactly my favorite moment.
That's what popped into my head. I'm just like, yep. Just that whole sequence. Him coming for a hug, her dodging it, him falling off, and they're like, oh, can he swim? He's this great athlete. Which it makes sense he can't swim, because they stuck him on an island so he wouldn't piss people off, and he can't leave because he couldn't swim to get away from off the island.
I remember that moment where my jaw just dropped. I was like, no, he's not. He can't be dead. This is a whole storyline. Like, I'm supposed to. What? Oh, it's gonna be me. Oh, I see where this went. It just took me by surprise. Was hilarious. It was the right beat for the story at that moment. Like you said earlier, like that's the time where I needed some levity and just some like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, absolute best game
played
moment.
So well. Really, all my best moment, I was like, oh, is pretty much coming from AC Odyssey for the most part. It's super memorable. There's like definitely key moments in the family storyline that are going to stick with me. But yeah, the testicles thing was just so good. So perfectly timed.
So good. Absolutely perfect. Just nothing, no other story beat has matched what was needed or necessary like that this year. Just so great. And that beat out narrowly just beating Celeste. Like, beating Celeste was so amazing for me this year, but that moment was just like, so that exactly when I thought of this for our podcast, I thought that's exactly what popped into my head, and I had to go with it. All right, so we are nearing the end of our podcast. I just want to give you a challenge. We're gonna, for us, if you choose to accept it. I know in the past we've done a video game book club, and it was really fun to like choose a game and we'd play through it for the month. I don't know if you felt this way, but it kind of felt a little bit like something I had to do. Like it was, some of the games you chose were short, some were long, whatever. But it felt like there was other things I wanted to be playing, and I had to play this game. And neither here nor there, they end up being great games, but almost felt a little bit like a small burden, like a first world problem. But I wanted to bring something like that back up because it really was fun.
Yes.
So I present this to you, something I want to call the first hour challenge, where every 2 weeks we choose a game in our backlog that we've never played, and we simply play the first hour. You don't commit to playing any more than that. And then every 2 weeks, we'll just record like a special one-off at the end of our episode just to tell each other about the first hour of whatever game we played. So it won't be too time-consuming. and it will help us kind of just play a little bit.
And let's be honest, a lot of these games will play the first hour and be like, I never want to touch that again.
Right, exactly. So I think it'll be fun to find a few gems, but also find a few things that are like, nope, that's not something I want to come on to play.
Why do I even own this? God damn you, Steam sales.
I was going to say, most of these are probably going to come from Steam, but I swear to God, I have a ton of PS4 games too. So
I have a ton too from PS Plus.
Oh yeah, exactly right.
I mean, I get those games, so many games every month that I'm like, okay.
Excellent.
So yeah, no, I will take you up on that. That should be fun.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll bring some interesting content to our audience as well. Speaking of our audience, I want to say thank you for following along with this episode. If you heard my baby crying in the background, I apologize. It's been a rough night for her. So she's very sick, just like the rest of the family. Yeah. But thanks for listening to our Game of the Year discussion. Hit us up on Twitter at SummerSpeak, at Prof Plays Games. Let us know what your GOTY is, and then we will hopefully respond to you and continue the conversation next week.
All right.
Thanks,
everyone.
Yep. Have a good night, folks.